Yeah. All right. Where's everybody tonight? What is there? Something going on? I mean, it was an impeachment.
They're all going to they're all going to the Capitol, man. You gotta storm the
That's what
Capitol.
I'm asking. I don't know nothing else.
Rabbi Stein, can you read my background? It's about the impeachment.
We chose not to, Jesse. We choose not to.
Well, it says impeachment 2, the impeaching. This time it's impeachier.
Where did you leave off last night?
We left off 5 lines from the top, 6 lines from the top of Nun Gimel Amud Aleph. Yeah. Tonight we have some shmitta, and then we get into interesting Hilchos Pesach. Okay, we gave everybody enough time to get on. Simon's off the phone. There we go.
My mother called me, and you know about having to listen to mommy.
100%.
Parents, are you making comes first.
Parents, are those faces at me? What do you like?
What?
Yep, and they're for whoever wants them.
What are you talking about?
Paris was making some faces. Funny faces.
I was doing it to Mendel, Tziyaka. You got Mendel in the back behind you.
I know. I got Mendel here. Yeah. Okay.
Tziyaka, you heard of Sharim B'Tziyonim B'Halacha?
Did I hear of it?
Yeah, Sefer.
Why are you asking me that?
Because I met his son today.
That is the one, I believe, the all-time greatest sefer.
Wow. So he was telling me his father, whatever, someone's on Braun, whatever. I'm like, wow, it's pretty crazy. Like, it's crazy sefer. I looked it up. I said, you know what? I'm gonna ask you if you.
That's why on the Kitzur Shir, it's a Pirush. First of all, he has Stam on Gemara. He also has 4 Chalakim on Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. It's an unbelievable work.
Wow.
I'm telling you, a lot of the stuff that we say over by the
I heard like major poskim, they hold of it.
The poskim all over the world quote Sean Mattiano. It's an interesting thing, like somebody from Borough Park.
Borough Park. I met his son. He's like a mashgiach. It's like crazy. Wow. All right.
Yeah, Baruch Hashem. It's out of print, though. Did you ask him why it's out of print?
No, I looked it up online. You get a 20, like one. I mean, it depends which chelik you want or whatever it is.
Yeah, they're available.
Yeah, I saw it today. But there's a bunch of different ones.
But there also used to be a website called virtualgeula.com or something, and they do reprints of stuff.
So does Beagle Eisen.
Right. Hebrew books.
Naftali, can you send out the link that you saw for it?
Yeah, but it depends on what you want. They have on Shabbos. They have
any of them. Send out the link.
Yeah,
You're talking about the Gemaras. The Pirush on the Gemara. Simon, we're talking about the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch.
I don't care. No. Come on, you know me.
No.
You know me.
I know, but I thought you wanted it for the Kitzur in order to look up on the Kitzur. Okay.
You know what I want? I want to fill up my shelves even more.
Oh Hashem. Good.
All right, nice.
Make sure you chop down a lot of wood over there in South Bend for those bookshelves.
How am I going to heat my house? How am I going to heat my house and feed my children?
I don't know. Okay. So Daf Nun Beis, the Chaz from yesterday. We said what's worse, to put a bacher in chayrim or to give him malchus. That was the first thing, meaning if he's machal, if he's over on an isser. And then we had 4 or 5 different pshatim where Rabbi Yehuda in the Mishna Soma, when he says bring the fruits of shmita, and then we'll talk. Then we said a case of soaking 3 different vegetables that have 3 different eating ending times, right? What you have to do. We had a 3-way machlokes of what you have to do with that. And then on Amud Beis, then there were 3 different lands in Eretz Yisrael for the end, right? Because shmita, when the stuff that grows by itself, you're only allowed to have the food up and the fruits or the vegetables, both, until after the animals in the field no longer have access to it. So we said that there's 3 areas in Eretz Yisrael, and each of those areas has 3. So it's a total of 9 different areas that you have to fit yourself into. And we said a machlokes, the fruits of shias have to be returned to Eretz Yisrael or not. And then the Gemara was saying destroying unripe fruits of shmita. Okay, so that takes us to Nun Gimel Amud Aleph, 7 lines then, I think it is. Toner Rabbanon. Yeah, Toner Rabbanon. Oichlin ba'anovim. So now the Gemara till the Mishna. Well, no, the Gemara first the Tudos is going to go through the different zmanim of what the zman beer is. Like in Eretz Yisrael, they'll have lists. Be'ez Hashem after next year. They're going to have these lists of which type of foods you're allowed to eat until when. And after, once you hit that zman, then you have to do the beer, right? Fine. So Tana Rabbanon, oichlin ba'anovim, right? Food, right? You can meaning we could eat grapes until the it's a name of a place, right? These are all names. There's going to be names of cities here. Some interesting names. So until the dolias of the vines of Eichel are gone, meaning once that's the time for grapes. But if there are some that are later than this time, Eichel and Alein, then you're allowed to eat based on those being later. Eichel bezei, so that's by grapes. Eichel bezei semach yichla achem shebitkoya, until the last olive is done in the city of Tekoya. Right? Rabbi Elazar Omer, these are all places where they have the highest quality of grapes, olives. Rabbi Elazar Omer, achayichla achron shel gush, until shel gush chalav, until the last one by gush chalav. And it has to be enough that the ani goes out. Until he won't find it not on the branches and not on the base of the tree, roiva. He won't even find the roiva, which is a measurement of olives. I mean, it's a measurement of anything, but here we're talking about olives. Oichlin begroigris, dried out figs is achichlu page beis hini, until the figs of beis hini are done. Once the figs of beis hini are done, then you have to stop eating figs until you do the beer. Some of Yehuda lahuskru page beis hini elalinin meiser. No, page beis hini had to do with meiser, not with shmitta, right? Because we learned in the Mishna, page beis hini vahini tuvina chayavin b'meiser. They are chayav in meiser, right? So meaning it's not beis hini has nothing to do with the last time that you could eat dried figs during shmita. It has to do with meiser, right? That you do need to take meiser off of it. Okay. Fine.
It's interesting also, there's a difference.
Yeah.
Gemara by grapes and olives that are novim and zaysim. Here it's switched to dried figs. It doesn't say to einim.
Yeah, Taka. So what do you say?
It could be that's what there's a diak there for the Gemara's, the maskana of the Gemara. There's nothing to do with shmita.
Oh, you mean that's why I changed it to a dried?
Yeah.
Anyway, I also don't understand, why is the Gemara picking these 3, 4? Doesn't every fruit need to have a zman?
Yeah, these are the big ones, presumably.
Okay, so you mean saying the basic ones and everything else not?
Yeah.
I mean, whatever. That's not okay.
No, once you know these, then wherever they grow the other ones.
Well, it's going to depend. It's going to depend on when the food is depleted, right?
Yeah, but these were the big growers, so presumably they had, the most.
I hear. Okay, so let's see. Tomorrow, see now we go to the dates. Is until the last one in Tzoyer. There's one last one in the city of Tzoyer. We had this Gemara. You can eat the dates if they're stuck in between the branches, right? The dates fall off and they just get stuck. But you can't eat between the thorns. So Gemara says, I'll ask you a kasha. You can eat grapes until Pesach. And olives can be eaten until Shavuos. The groigras ad Chanukah, dried figs until Chanukah. B'tmarim ad Purim, and regular dates until Purim. The last 2 you swap it, meaning one is Purim and one is Chanukah, right? Whatever it is, so it's a different year. The first Gemara is saying that it goes with when the city's supplies are depleted, And here it's saying it goes up to a certain time during the year. So the Gemara says, no, it's the same shear. It's just a different way of describing it. It's the same shear, different way of describing it. Some say, no, what it means to say is basically saying if it grows for later, then you could eat them. You could eat them. Fine. Tanya Rav Shimon Gamliel Omer, a very interesting Gemara here. Simin laharim milin. A simin that something is a mountain, that it qualifies as a mountain, is if it has a trees called a milin. Afotzin. What is afotzin? Is gall nuts, right? Simin la makim, a simin for the depths, right? For a valley is the kolim. If it has decal trees there, then you know it's a valley. Simin la nachalim. So a simin for streams is that it has kolim and has reeds there. Simin la shvala. I'm sorry, shikma. A simin for the shvela is like flatlands, is if it has shikma, right? Which a shikma is a type of tree that doesn't give off any fruit. That's what Rashi says. Even though there's no raya to this, a zecher from pasuk there is. Remember, Yitin HaMelech is a kesef, Yerushalayim kavanim, and Hashem made silver. I'm sorry, not Hashem. The king made silver in Yerushalayim like stones. Besar rozim nasan kishkamim asher b'shvel l'roiv, and he put the cedar trees as many as them as this shikma tree in a shvela. So you see that a shvela has this tree, the sycamore tree that doesn't have fruit. Yeah. So simin laharim milin, simin lamakim dekalim nafkamina lebikurim. Well, who cares what's a simin? So this is a simin for this is a mountain, and this is a valley, and this is a plain, and this is a stream. Who cares? What's in Negeya? So the first two were saying mountains and amakim is for bikurim. Why? The Tanakh bikurim is the first fruits, right? Not every fruit do you have to bring the first fruits up to the kohen, right? Only certain things, of which is the Tanakh ein meviim bikurim ela mishivas aminim. We only bring bikurim from the shivas aminim. The column shabaharim, and not from the date trees that are in the mountains. And not with the fruits that go in the valleys. Why not? Because they're not high quality. So if they're not high quality, we don't put them into bikurim, right? Similar nachalim konim nafkamina lenachal eson. That's for nachal eson, which is what you need to do when you have to kill, when you find a dead person, right, in between the cities. You need to bring an egla rufa, and you need to snap its neck next to a river. So nachal eson, if there's reeds there, then you know it goes nachal eson. Similar shvala shikma nafkamina lemekachomem, because that's to do with business, right? Meaning if somebody wants to buy that area, and it's described a certain way, if it has sycamore trees there, then it's considered that area. If not, then it's not. Now that you say it's mekachumemkar, kulunami the mekachumemkar, then all these descriptions are mekachumemkar. Meaning, if you're a real estate agent and you're describing that it's mountains and all that, well, it has to have these milan trees, and if it's going to be a valley, then it has to have a decal, etc., etc. If not, then you could be ripping the person off. All right. I saw today, but of course I don't remember exactly. There's some Sefer that takes a play on words with the Simonim. And he says, like the first one I remember, Simin Laharim, like mountains are high, is Milan. Guy that's a Balgaiva shoots his mouth off always. Right? That's a Simin Laharim. And then Amokim is a dekel. I don't know, but it has to do with somebody who's humble. I don't know, etc., etc. I'm sorry for giving a half-baked mushal, but that's some Sefer has an interesting shot in that. Okay, that's that. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I think I heard Rabbi Rosen say today. I think Rav Chaim Kanievsky has a whole sefer on Egel Rufa, and I think he calls it Nachal Eson. You heard such a thing?
I think so. Yeah. I think is that what it's called? I don't know. I don't remember. That could be.
I think it's called Nachal Eson. I never learned it.
What's the Beis Yosef's Shuvas called? Something like that, no?
Nachal Eson?
No, Nachal Eson, something along those lines. I don't know. Okay, so then the next Mishnah, very interesting. Then a major practical halacha comes out of this next Mishnah. Fine, now actually from the Gemara. If you're in a place that the minig is to sell behemoth daka is like sheep, lambs, goats, those type of things. If you're in the city that sells them to goyim, you sell them. If you're in a city that the minig is not to sell those type of animals to goyim, you don't sell them. And in every place, you're not allowed to sell them behemoth gasas, agolim, calves, v'sayachim, shleimin, shurin, whether they're whole or whether they're broken, right? And now there's a bunch of reasons why you don't sell them. But let's just finish the Mishna. Rabbi Yehuda Mata B'Shvura. Rabbi Yehuda says if it's broken, then you're allowed to sell it to them because we're not afraid you're going to do anything with it. But in Beseira Mata B'Sus, and Beseira allows a sus. Okay, so what's a pshat in this? The reason why not to sell Behema Gasa is a fascinating gezerah. If you go with the basic pshat in Rashi, is that we're afraid that if you're going to sell them a Behema Gasa, right? You're going to sell it perhaps Friday afternoon right before Shabbos. The guy's going to say to you, let me see that your cow or your ox can do the work. And it's going to turn into Shabbos. And you're going to end up following behind it in the field. And you're going to be over and you're going to be Machal Shabbos. So because of that, no selling animals ever to goyim. Right?
Why one of the animals?
Well, because it's a Issa Daraisa to go after the animal, to be Machamer Achar Behemte on Shabbos.
What about selling clothing? You might come to spire it. You might come.
What, to sew it?
Yeah, I'm saying any.
That's it, because I think it seems like before anybody bought an animal, they took it for a test drive, right? They kicked the tires, you know what I mean? See how it goes. So they're afraid. They want to take it for a test drive right before Shabbos. I don't know if you do that normally with clothing. Right? I think so. There's also another pshat that they were afraid of. They didn't want to sell animals to goyim because they were going to be mezana with the animals. So there was that issue. Okay, but there's a bunch of issues, but those are the two main ones.
The mezana, doesn't it lower the value?
If they're mezana, yeah, but they're buying it. They're not the guy's going to buy it and then be mezana, right? Okay, but whatever it is. So yeah, so when Beseira is matir besus, right?
Can I ask kind of a strangely practical yet impractical question here?
Mm-hmm.
How prevalent was it to be mazana with an animal back in this day that we had to be so concerned by it? I'm not saying it didn't happen; it still happens.
Yeah, asking a good question, Miss Simon.
There's an S in the title.
I know.
Let me ask you, how prevalent is it by you?
Why don't you look up one of your
South Bend,
Simon?
Guess you guys never lived in a rural area.
I mean, I do. I live very close to one at least, but it doesn't.
Go talk to
We're basing halacha off of how theoretically a small fraction of goyim would act at this time.
Yes. And 1 second, and making a gezerah that perhaps they're gonna sell that animal right before Shabbos, and the guy's gonna test drive it on Shabbos, and therefore you can't ever sell animals. I mean, that's also sometimes it seems like the Chachamim didn't want us selling animals to goyim, and they just fit in, reasons.
I can at least hear that, right? Like using an animal for farming. I hear it takes a long time to prep and then unprep and this and that. I can hear it it's like getting a haircut, before Shabbos. Like I get it, but this is so beyond the scope of like a normal thought process almost.
You're right, but I have to tell you something. If you look in
Orchos
Tzadikim,
it's not. It's not.
Must not be,
it's
right?
Not. He's wrong. Farmers have sex with their animals. Their sons have. That's what they do. And you speak to any farmer, that's what they do.
It's only one sheet.
One second. I have to say something. Orchos Tzadikim. Look in Orchos Tzadikim Shara Tshuva, the last parak in Orchos Tzadikim, and he goes through all the common isurim that people are over, right? And one of them is bestiality with chickens. Okay. Now this is the Orchos Tzadikim talking about the common things that people have to do tshuva for. Can you imagine? I have no idea.
When was that? When was that?
Orchos Tzadikim? I don't have no idea when Orchos Tzadikim. A long time ago.
Is there a
All
connection?
long.
I don't mean to make a joke. Is there a connection with doing kaparas with chickens? I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding.
So having smartphones isn't so
We're not
bad.
gonna talk about money.
That's why, Michael, that's why us Litvaks do it with money. We don't need to do it with chicken.
Hold on, is that why we keep the money under the mattress?
Okay.
So I guess smartphones aren't the worst thing to happen.
Seriously, wasn't
I
it?
know, yeah. Listen. No, I hear. Another thing that I was looking at a different Gemara yesterday, and it was going through all the different things in the Kahanim's clothing that's mechaper. So the pants, I don't know, how do you say the pants in the Kohen's pants? I forgot what's the lashon. Is mechaper, it's mechaper on znus. The Michnasayim is mechaper on znus. Right? What I don't understand. How much znus was going on that the Kohen Gadol's pants are mechaper on znus? That's what we have to be doing, right? I'm saying in our crazy
severity. Maybe it's not.
What?
Maybe it's an order of severity.
That could be.
I mean,
Okay.
it was so bad. I'm looking for some sort of.
I know. I hear. No, all I want to say from this whole zach is Ashreinu us with all our preachers and all our this and all our that. The oilam is not being mizana for the most part, right? It's a miyut of a miyut of a miyut.
At least not with
and the
chickens.
oilam's behaving themselves. The oilam doesn't have multiple wives and no pilagshim and no this and as much schmutz out there as there ever was in the history.
You
and
think
the
we're
oilam
better
behaves
off?
themselves.
You think we're better off now than before? Is that what you're actually saying?
I'm gonna ask you a question. How many people do you know that are over with animals?
Okay, you shouldn't ask me that.
And Mazana.
That's because you know what this was. You remember a few weeks ago you were trying to figure out what people did on Shabbos afternoon, but they didn't have all the stuff to amuse themselves with.
Okay, maybe I don't know. Maybe talk about whatever it is. I just think that our door.
That's the first time I heard that.
All I'm saying. All I'm saying is that I think our door is gewaldig. I don't know why Mashiach's not here. To be honest with you, I really don't know. Serious. I mean, it's serious. Okay, let's go weiter. Yeah.
By the way, I'm happy that my son
on a serious,
I know. Yeah.
That was the most.
On a serious note, what the issue is that they're going to be Machal Shabbos with your animal.
Yes, you're going to be Machal Shabbos with your animal.
I get. So we're worried that we're going to plow for the goyim.
You're going to make this. You want to make the sale.
We're going to show them, hey, look, it does work well, and you're going to follow behind it and lead it, and it's good. You can be Machal Shabbos. Yeah, that's one of the reasons. Yeah.
I'm saying, is there an issue if they were using your animal stam to plow their own field?
No, that's not. That's an issue if they pay you. It's a schar Shabbos.
So why couldn't they just make a gzera that you can't?
Nothing on Friday, right?
On Friday.
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. That's what we're saying with Simon. That there's a lot of them. I mean, either the Rabbanim Shalom, obviously the Rabbanim Shalom, well, the Rabbanon did not want us selling animals to goyim. That's what comes out.
So the reason is because of Shabbos.
That's one of the reasons.
With the goyim.
That probably has to do with it, Mustama. That's probably deep down reason. But the reason Rashi says this is all sugin avodah zarah. These are all sugis in avodah zarah. But that's the main reason that's brought. Okay, let's see.
Tiago, right after the daf last night, there was a commercial for CarMax. The kids had the game on. And they have a new shtickle that they let you test drive the car for 24 hours. Because test driving a car round the corner is not enough. This Gemara, no? They're scared.
Very good.
Test drive the animal, and you're going to, a couple hours later, you're going to come back.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Very good. Very good. Okay, so the last line in the Mishnah. The minig, if it's a minig in your town to eat roasted food on Pesach, you're allowed to. And if it's a makom that it's not, the minig is not to eat roasted food, then you don't eat roasted food, right? Okay, so now we know that our minig is not to. But what's interesting is though, that's the whole what do you call it is sheep and what do you call it is that's not totally in minig. This is referring to meat. No, how do you call meat
beef,
from a
beef,
not from a sheep?
Beef.
Beef. Oh, lamb is not beef, I guess. Okay. So that's okay. So beef. The minig, the machlokes in the minig is by beef. It's not by lamb and by sheep. There's no minig. That's usher. That's not up. That's Shulchan Aruch says that's not up for grabs. This is talking about beef and chicken. Okay.
What's the last Rashi? The last Rashi in the Mishnah.
Because it looks like you're eating korban Pesach outside of
the. So I can't eat tzli 1,000 years after the Beis Hamikdash because it looks like 1,000 years ago.
No, it looks like now. It looks like now you're doing it.
Now I can do what?
Now it looks like now if you're having something roasted, it looks like you made a korban Pesach and you're eating it and you roasted it outside the Beis Hamikdash.
If I eat tzli, it looks like I can eat in the year one.
No. In 2021, if you eat roasted meat, Pesach by night, it's going to look like you made yourself a korban Pesach in your house, which is not allowed. That's what it's going to look like. Right? The Mishnah goes a bechutz.
Bechutz means, I thought it means outside the Beis Hamikdash.
It does, yeah. Yeah.
It's just not around now. What do you mean?
What do you say?
The Beis Hamikdash is not around.
Right, so that's why it's a problem. If it was around, you could have maybe done it, and somehow you ended up with it. Somehow you got it shipped to you real fast. Right? What's the problem?
It would be bechutz.
It would be bechutz.
This Rashi is a raya to the goyim, the Rambam, that you're allowed to bring korban Pesach today, as long as you're in Eretz Yisrael, in Yerushalayim.
L'chayra. That's you mean you want to say because otherwise you can say that it's more of an issue that there's no like what Zev is saying.
Kachim. Yeah.
Right. I hear that. Okay, so let's see. So Amar Rabbi Yehuda Marav Asur loy la'adam sheyomer basar zeh lePesachu. Mipnei shenira kemakdish behemtoi v'aychol b'kachim b'chutz. It's also for a person to say that this meat is for Pesach because it looks like you're makdish behemtoi and you're eating kachim b'chutz. Amar Papa dafka basar, but that's only for meat. Avochiti, but wheat, loy, that you don't. That's no problem. The minta lepislakam. When you say that this wheat is for Pesach, nobody's gonna think that it's for a korban or whatever it is. It's not for kachim, so they're gonna think that it's for matzah. Now, so that means that you're not supposed to go to when you're taking a shopping list or you're going shopping, somebody asks you, why are you going shopping? I'm going to get meat for Pesach. You're not supposed to say that. Right? And if somebody tells you, right, go to the grocery store and get some meat for Pesach. No, you shouldn't say that. And that applies to chicken too. Right? Why? Chicken can't be a korban Pesach. But that's what the poskim say. That it's right. You should say that it. You should say to people, I'm going to buy meat for Yom Tif. That's the way the Shulchan Aruch says it. You should say you're buying meat for Yom Tif.
Was it the fact that it was sleeve that was barbecued basically, or that it looked like it, or it looked like something from the Beis Hamikdash?
No. It just sounds like you're making this into a korban Pesach. By saying that, it looks like you're making this into korban Pesach.
It's two separate issues. Not the issue of the Mishnah.
The chicken is not a korban
chicken.
Pesach.
Correct.
So why couldn't?
Well, neither is meat.
Fair enough.
Right. So, but
so what's the din then? I don't understand what the problem is.
Right, but because it's a chashash. The same reason why why can't you have roasted chicken? Right? Why can't you have roasted chicken Pesach by night? We just the chacham just throw everything into I guess beef, but you're saying beef is not the right word. What would you call it? Fleischiks.
What do you mean?
Fleischiks? What?
Sheep?
They just didn't want anything. They didn't want lamb. They didn't want sheep. They didn't want beef. They didn't want chicken. Nothing. You shouldn't be saying any of these things, right?
But was it a din in like fleischiks or just that it looked?
It's a din. It's a din now. You can't go to a store.
No. He's asking a good thing, Simon, because The reason is because you could take the chicken and you're making it into, you makdish it, and then you're going to sell the chicken. Right?
You
makdish the chicken,
makdish
or you can makdish the cow or the meat.
But
you
you
make it hektish, and then you take that money. Then you take that money, and then you use it for your korban Pesach. So if that's the case, why are you stopping at animals? Why not say? Why can't you say? Why are you allowed to say I'm going to buy a mop for Pesach? Right? Maybe you're making that mop into the hektish of Pesach.
we go all the time to the store and say we're buying this for Pesach. That's the whole point of Pesach shopping.
Correct. Right. Whatever it is, there are makilim on chicken and all that that it's not an issue. But the Maisa, the poskim say there are poskim that hold it's a problem, so therefore it's better not to say it's for Pesach. The same thing.
The thing we were talking about before, 8% of men.
Nowadays?
In the 1940s, 8%.
You serious?
That's what it says. Yeah.
Wow.
And the other 92 are lying.
I hear that. But anyway, so but another thing is that the butchers shouldn't put Pesach on their meat. Right? They should write kosher lePesach or this or that. They shouldn't write just Pesach. Yeah. Anyways.
I remember when I last learned this, hearing from a rabbi, that the issue of Yehuda Marav is saying is B'dafka the Amira. It's a different issue than the Mishna. The Mishna is talking about sleeve. That's what halacha brings. This issue is that if I wanted to be makdish, a sheep, for a korban Pesach, I would use the same exact term. Zezel lePesach. So if I say Basar Zel lePesach, it's mamish the lashon of hektish.
I hear. Interesting. Okay, that's the way you're right, but that's probably that's what it is. Yeah.
That's why he says, but not by wheat, because wheat everyone understands. It's nothing to do with kachim. It's not because, like the mop example that you had.
Right.
Everyone understands. It means for the Yom Tif. It has nothing to do with hektish. When I say about meat, lePesach, that is the lashon I would use for a korban.
Right. I hear. Very good. Okay, so let's see. It's late. Let's go. Ubasar loy. It's not. Rest of the daf is not hard, so it's not. But there's also important Gemara. Ubasar loy, and meat not. Right. Meisvei. Amar Rabbi Yossi Tudos ish Raimi hinigas b'nei Raimi Tudos from Rome was manig the people from Rome lechol gediyim mekulasin b'leilei Pesachim. He told them to take a goat, right, and take their and mamish roast it on Pesach exactly, the way they did on a spit, right? They put the spit right through the animal's mouth. I'm sure the Olam has seen pictures. He did it. That's what he held. That's what you should do. Sholchalei and Mali Tudos out there. They sent him. If it wouldn't be that you would be Tudos, because Rina Lecha Nidui, we would put you in Chayrim. Sha'ata Maicheles Yisrael Kotcha B'chutz, because you're causing people from Klal Yisrael to be Michael Kodshim b'chutz. Kodshim salkatayis. What is this? Kodshim? How can you say it's kodshim? Ela ema. Now we're on Tomei Beis. Ela ema korav lahachalis yisrael kodshim b'chutz. It's close to making them. It's because it's Rashi says it's daimila kodshim. What? Because they're mamish making it look like imitation karbonos outside of the Beis Hamikdash. The mamish looks like the korban Pesach. What? That's what the Gemara asks. Makulas in Shane Makulas loy. Sounds like only because he told them to do it the way they did it with the they put the fats of the insides of the animal outside the lamb and they stuck it through. Shane Makulas lights, but if it wouldn't be Makulas nuts, so we say no. Amri Makulas. If you do it Makulas the way they mamish did it in the korban Pesach, Loishna Omar Loishna Loy Omar, makes no difference what you said. It's still also Shane Makulas. If it's not Makulas, Pirish in. Loy pirush loy. If he says that it was for Pesach, then it's a problem. If he didn't say it and he just does it, then it's not a problem. Ravacha said that this Mishnah is Reb Shimon, right, and not Reb Yossi. Maskul Reb Sheishes. So Reb Sheishes says, "Bishlam Laman Tani Lak Reb Yossi Nicha." If you learn like Rabbi Yossi, it makes sense. Elaman the Masnik Rabbi Shimon, but the one that says like Shimon, min nicha, doesn't make sense. Vatran Rabbi Shimon Paiter Shaloyas Nadik v'derech Chamis Nadvim. Rabbi Shimon says that if somebody brings a korban mincha, right? He says he's bringing a korban mincha, but he's bringing it from barley. Now, barley is not, you can't make a korban mincha out of barley. It needs to be wheat, right? Flour. So, but he says, I'm bringing a korban mincha, shel sa'irim. So do we say korban mincha stop? Now he's chayav to bring the korban mincha. We say, no, he said korban mincha shel sa'irim, and therefore he's that's not the correct thing to do. So Reb Shimon says, no, he's potter from a korban because he didn't make the nedava the way he's supposed to. Yeah. So therefore, so what do you see? That Reb Shimon, if he clearly holds it has to be done exactly the way it's supposed to be. So okay, and let's say you do say it's Reb Yossi. Is it okay? Reb Shimon is going in Reb Yossi's opinion. The Amar that he says, a person goes with his Gemar Dvarav. My law, Reb Shimon Savalok Reb Yossi, and if Reb Shimon holds like Reb Yossi, Nami Savalok Reb Shimon. So Reb Yossi also holds like Reb Shimon. So we say, Loi, Reb Shimon Savalok Reb Yossi, Reb Shimon holds like Reb Yossi, Reb Yossi Savalok Reb Shimon, and Reb Yossi does not hold Reb Shimon. So it was a two-way street. So one does hold like the one, and one does not hold the other. Fine. Iboilu. Tudos Ishraimi Gabra Rabba Hava, or Bala Grufin Hava. Tudos, so I said they were upset, the Chacham were upset at Tudos Ishraimi that he told people to make their meat on Pesach like that. And they said, if it wouldn't be that you were Tudos, we would put you in Chayrim. So does that mean because he's a good guy, or is he a bad guy and they're scared of him? Right? Gabra Rabba Hava, he's a great person.
But you don't say to a bad guy that you're afraid of him. If we were,
why not?
You don't say such a lesson.
No, he's a strong guy. He's a strong guy. He's a strong guy, and you don't want to start up with him. No? I hear. Okay, I don't know. But okay, but that's a Gemara Shaila. Yeah? So is he good guy or bad guy?
Gemara is asking, because a block ago, we literally just had the Amayra that was put in Chayrim for doing the same thing.
Right.
And here you see, how could it be that he was a Chashav Yid and they didn't do it? They just did it because he was.
Right. I hear that.
That's why the Gemara is asking. But here it must be.
Interesting. Okay, I hear. Very good. So Toshima. So Oid Zeu Darash Tudos Ishraimi Darshan. Ma'ro Chanani Mishov Azari Shabasur Atzman HaKadushas Hashem. Why did Hanani, Mishal, and Azariah? Why did they give themselves over to the? Why did they go into the fire? So Nosu Kavachimer, and they made a Kavachimer mitzvardim from the frogs, which is this week's parsha, right? Umatzvardim Shem Mitzvah Kedushas Hashem. Tzvardim frogs don't have a mitzvah of Kiddush Hashem. And the frogs went into their ovens and into their bowls, right? When do they find? When are the kneading bowls? When are they found next to the tanur? That's when the oven is hot. So clearly, these frogs, Hashem wanted them to go into the oven to burn themselves. So Chanani Mishal Azari said, if they're not mechuyev to do it, so Anu Shematzuvana Kedushas Hashem Allah has come mekama. So that's for sure.
Why were they mechuyev to be motzai nefesh? For what?
Why were they?
Yeah.
That's exactly what he's asking. They should not have been motzai nefesh. Right? That's exactly what he was saying. So they made a kavachomer. So really you need two things. That's the Tudos. Tudos says, first Rashi says that why didn't they dash? You're not supposed to die. Right? But Tudos says, what do you mean? They were supposed to die because this whole thing, this story happened in public. And we know that when a guy asks a yid to do an avera in public, then he is mechuyev to give over his life for any mitzvah. So that's what Tudos goes through, that it wasn't really avodah zarah. It's a big tumult, exactly what Chanani Mishal Azariah went through over here. All right, but it's a big tumult. But that was the Kal V'chomer, right? I'm sure there have been many vertlach by the Seder table, like based on this with the Tzvardeya, based on this Gemara. Whatever it is, so you see, Tudos was somebody choshev. Let's see, right. The Rabbi Yossi bar Avin Omar Matal Malai lekis shel Talmidei Chachamim. What he did is he would put malai, he would put business. He would put business into the wallets of Talmidei Chachamim, like Rashi says. He would give them business, right? So, and that's the highest level of tzedakah, right? The highest level of tzedakah is not to just give them money; it's to put them on their feet, to put people on their feet, and let them be able to make their own money, right? The Amar of Yochanan Kol Mata Malai lekis Talmidei Chachamim. If somebody does this to Talmidei Chachamim, Zoicha v'yashav yeshiva shamayla, he is going to be Zoicha to sit in the yeshiva shamayla. Shenemar ki betzel hachachma betzel hakesef, and they're going to sit in the shade of chachma, in the shade of money. So that's what Tudos used to do. So clearly he was a person that was choshev, and that's why they didn't want to put him into cherem.
Why? Because he's going to have a shutfus in the Talmud Chacham's Torah?
I don't know. See, it doesn't sound like Yisachar Zvulun. It doesn't sound like Yisachar Zvulun here. No, you're helping the Talmud Chachamim make some money.
You're going to have a shutfus in his Torah because you made it easier for him for Panatsia.
Yeah, that's Mm-hmm.
That's the shot?
I think so. Yeah, because since you help them live, you're going to also be in the shade of their knowledge.
Of his Torah.
Yeah. So Zok the Mishna. If it's the minhag to light candles on Yom Kippur, then we light it. Now this, by the way, this means like I think nowadays everybody lights neiros Yom Kippur, right? Every woman, the women light neiros for Yom Kippur, right? This is talking about where these mekamas they didn't have a minhag to light. The mekamas that didn't have minhag to light. It's even the Shabbos candles. They didn't have, obviously, if it fell out on Shabbos, that we're going to discuss. But Stam Yom Kippur, they didn't light candles. Finished. There was no.
This is besides Ner Shabbos.
Well, Gemara is going to discuss it. Very good. Gemara is going to discuss all that.
That's totally a lot of time it took. I can't believe it took you that long to ask it. I thought you would say Toich de Diba. You know
Why is there no? What do you mean? There's no din to light Erev Yom Kippur? Why is it any different than any Yom Tov?
Because we're saying
Rosh Hashanah. What?
No, because they didn't. Because this Isser to be together with the wives, so some had the minhag not to light candles because you don't want us to be able to.
You talking about Yom Tov candles? You're talking about candles in the house?
No, we're talking about the candles in the house. Is the same thing. That's what I'm saying. It's candles in the house. It'd be the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what it is.
No.
So we're noyig too. Right?
I thought.
Really? What are you saying?
I thought it's talking about only where a husband and wife could be together.
No. Really, no, that's what I'm saying. No, that's not. That's what I used to think too. But that doesn't seem to be the pshat. They didn't.
So how do you say Shekadishanu b'mitzvayis v'tzivanu?
No, because our minig is too. It's totally in the minig.
Okay.
Right? Malkum shenagu lahadik is an ebeleli yom kim madlikin. Malkum shenagu shaloi lahadik ein madlikin. Umadlikin about knesiyas, about the midrashos, and mavuas ha'afelim v'agabi ha'chaylim. But we do light in the shul and in besmedrish and in the streets, the dark streets, and for sick people. Right? Yeah. So that's fine. The Zakti Gemara. Tana bein shamru lahadik, bein shamru shaloi lahadik, shnein l'davar echad nischavnu. Whether you held to light neiros or whether not to, the kavanah was all the same. Right? So Amar Rabbi Shua Darash Rabbi V'amech kulam tzadikim. The whole nation is tzadikim. Lo'ilam yirshu aretz. There's a song of the daf. Yeah. Bein shamru lahadik, bein shamru shaloi lahadik, shnein lo nischavnu ela l'davar echad. Everybody has the same thing in mind. So some meaning those that had the hanhaga to light it, right? So if you lit it, then you wouldn't be able to be together because it's light in the room, right? And those that had it that it's off so that they shouldn't see their wives and there should be no attraction, right? I'll be that during the Kriyas HaTorah by Mincha and Yom Kippur is about Arayas, right? No chamo. We're coming full circle, but we're not going. Okay, fine.
Well, is it considered a rayas if someone's with the wife when they're not allowed to?
On Yom Kippur?
I'm saying, is that called a rayas?
And by neither, 100%. Yes. Okay. Neither, yeah. That's a big shaila, Taka. The Shulchan Aruch, it actually brings, good you reminded me. If a guy's wife is usher anyways, then do these hanhagas apply with the lights or not? Either way, you're already being pyrus. So what's the problem? You don't need an extra. It's only when the wife is mutter that you have this issue.
No, I'm not talking about she's a nida. If she's not a nida, it's still called a rayas.
Well, no, why should it be a rayas? Well, Yom Kippur is Yom Kippur. If the guy's together with his wife on Yom Kippur, is that a rayas?
Yeah, no, because you're saying by mincha it's talking about a rayas. I mean, that's not one's wife is not a rayas.
No, that's true. But I'm just saying it goes through all the arayas. It just seems like it's fun. Yeah,
I wasn't sure you meant.
Fine. Okay, so I'm going to read Shmuel. Ein mevarchin. Okay, then we start with this sugi. We'll start it now. It's a gishmaka sugi. I'm going to read Shmuel. Ein mevarchin ala or ala b'motzei Shabbos. We don't make a bracha on or only on motzei Shabbos. Hoyel with chilas b'riyasi. That's when light was created. Light was created on motzei Shabbos. Amalei hu sav v'tem Rabbi Rachana. Yeah, parents, we haven't had this one in a while. Yasher, right? Yi Yasher. V'chein Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Right? Yi Yasher. You're correct. Right? There you go. It's Argamon only has Yud Shin Reish, but the Masaras Shas changes it to the two Yuds. Yi Yasher, right? Fine. V'chein Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Fine. Ula have a rachiv chamra. Ula was riding on a chamor. V'azu have a shakul. V'azu Rav Abba ben Yemine. V'Rav Bar Rachana mismaile. So Rav Abba was on his right and Rav Rachana was on his left. Amalei Rav Abba Ula vaday dam risu mishmei Rabbi Yochanan. Is it true what you said in the name Rabbi Yochanan? Eim mevarchan ala or el b'motzei Shabbos. Hayov v'tchilas b'riyasayu. Is it true that you only make a bracha on fire on motzei Shabbos because that's when it was created? Hadar Ula chazabei b'Rav Bar Rachana bishus. He gave him a look. Right? He gave him an angry look. Amalei ano lav aha amri. I didn't say that. Ela aha amri. This is what I said. The Tani Tana kamed Rabbi Yochanan. The Tana said the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Rabbi Shimon ben Elazar. Aimer Yom Kippur shechaliyas b'Shabbos, when Yom Kippur falls out on Shabbos, af b'makom she'amru shaloi lahadlik. Even if it's a community that they don't light neiros normally, madlikim b'nei kavod Shabbos, but you do light because of kavod Shabbos.
Right? Oh, I thought because you need Ner Shabbos.
No, we're not holding with that yet. Soon,
but that would make sense, though, right? Right. No, but here you see beferish that this was talking about the regular Shabbos candles that the woman lights for Yom Kippur, right? Saying, but when Yom Kippur falls out on Shabbos, l'kavod Shabbos, you have to light candles. No, but right? What I'm saying is you can't a motzei Shabbos.
You need Daltas Ner Shabbos. Yeah, so we're going to get to that on Amud Aleph. We're going to get to that on Amud Aleph tomorrow, Bez Hashem, right? So V'ani Rabbi Yochanan Basrei v'Chachamim Oisrim and Rabbi Yochanan answered back. It said the Chacham said no, right? Even when Yom Kippur is Chal on Shabbos, you don't light candles. Amar Lei, so he said to him, Ada Tehei, that's the way it should be. Meaning that's what it was. So Kari Ali Rabbi Yosef, so Rabbi Yosef called on him, Maya Mamukim Eitza Belev Ish. There's deep waters that are an Eitza in a person's heart. The Ish Tvuna Yidlena, and a man that understands things is going to pull it out. My mamukim eitza believe ish ze ula. That's ula, right? That because ula understood from Rav Abba, right, that he made a mistake and what Rabbi Yochanan said. Ish tfuna yidlena, and the understanding person lifts it out. Ze Rabbi Bar Rachana. That's referring to Rabbi Bar Rachana, right? That he took out. Rashi says he took out the thoughts from ula. Just based on the look that was given. And who do they hold like? The minig is we make a bracha on a fire, whether it's on motzei Shabbos, whether it's motzei Yom Kippur. The chein amad devar is a very interesting lashon. That is the minig in the Welt. Anytime the poskim want to say, like, oh, why we do this? Why chein amad devar? This is the way the Welt does it. So the Welt Taka does make bracha on fire. Sayan motzei Shabbos, Sayan motzei Yom Kippur. All right, we'll continue tomorrow, Bez Hashem, with the sugya. All right.
Oh,
Good to
yeah.
know everybody.
Thank you.
What do I want to say? Yeah. All right.
Jacob, can you talk on the phone for a second, or do you have to run?
Hold on a second.
I can speak to you tomorrow too. It's not like pressing matter.
Just tell us here, Simon. We could all hear.
Nothing to do with you, short stack.
Oh baby.
Never heard that one before.
Landau, do me a favor. Send over that thing you were talking about before.
Yeah. Actually, it is out of print. It happens to be, but there's a guy that reprinted it in pamphlets and paperback. It's on Amazon, $8.99 a volume.
Looks like I'm busy.
What do you mean? You put it out in pamphlets of which?
Yeah, a guy reprinted it for the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch. The one on Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, the Gemaras he has.
Reprinted what? There's a website you can get it through Signal, not through Amazon.
What?
You can get it through Signal, not through Amazon.
Parrots, he buys a stock, Parrots.
I tried to short it.
You see, it went from $60 to $70, 60 cents to $70.
67 cents to yeah, but the $70, I took the chart. It went up to $70 for a second, and
Even if you owned it at 60 cents and you held it to $8 on the way up and down, it's a sugar thing.
Why is it still at $8? Can you explain it to me, or wherever it closed today?
Who knows? It can go up and down.
There has to be a shot.
Did the guy dump his own stock?
I would hope he did.
Which one was this?
Signal.
I'm gonna tell you, I think it's gonna go down because everyone's gonna stay with WhatsApp. That's what's gonna happen at the end.
Give it a week after inauguration.
That's my opinion.
Simon, what we're talking about is this, what's
You're
his
probably
name?
right.
Yeah, Aaron Zweig, what are you tying it?
I agree. People change their habits very infrequently.
I hear.
You're giving away all the secrets when this is being recorded.
I'm gonna create a Signal one for the Daf, and that's where you're gonna start sending out the Chazara and everything else. We'll see what happens.
Hey, listen, we started Zoom, right? Nobody was on Zoom before us.
That's right.
Yeah, but none of us bought the stock.
You should have.
Yeah, because you said you're going to try it out for 2 weeks and see. You heard about this new Zoom thing.
I'm stuck holding in stock in blue jeans.
Yeah, what was that? What was that one that we used for like a week? And
blue jeans.
Yeah, that was blue jeans.
Come on, Zoom or blue jeans? Imagine it was going. Oh, did you go on blue jeans today? Come on,
I have a blue jeans meeting.
That never would have panned out.
2 nights of me being on blue jeans.
I gotta
Aren't blue jeans meetings everyone's meetings right now?
Crazy.
Yeah. Now, Simon, what's it? This stock called when he was sent, everybody should go on to Signal. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
There's a stock called Signal something. So it's got one employee based, I think, in Houston. One employee. It traded, in the cheap stock. What do you call it? Pink sheets.
Yeah.
The stock went in 2 days from 67 cents. It hit a high of $70 in 2 days, totally based on, because everybody thought that this Signal, which is the name of the company, is the stock, is that everybody's going to try and get it. It had no shaykhis, and they announced it. It has no shaykhis, and people still bought it.
What do you mean it has no shaykhis? No shaykhis to what?
It's not the same company.
It's not the same company.
Signal is not publicly traded.
He said use Signal. I thought that was not the app.
No, Signal is not publicly traded
he said
yet.
Use Signal. Signal is an app. It's a
Elon Musk said instead of WhatsApp, go to Signal. Instead of WhatsApp,
Signal is a non-for-profit organization that has.
I thought he was referring to the app.
It is the app, but everybody went online thinking to buy the stock because now it's going to go up, thinking that Signal was a publicly traded company. So they see Signal, they bought the stock, and it kept on going up and up.
But that stock is not related to the app?
No,
there is no. In Houston.
The company is not publicly traded.
That's funny. I didn't realize that part.
Yes. Check it out, Michael. I'm telling you, it's the most insane thing you ever heard.
That was just 2 words. That was imagine you used 3 words. What would happen?
Okay.
Let me see a quick question. Can I see a quick question?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
I was making pizza in the what do you call it? In the not the microwave, in the toaster oven on Friday. And it's right next to the what do you call it? The countertop. My wife was making soup, chicken soup, and it was steam coming out, and it seemed like it's like going into the toaster.
Is that? I imagine that's like majorly problematic, right?
It's Lamaisa push comes to shove, it's okay.
That's what I figured. That's what I figured you're gonna say, but it just looked like you know.
We don't hold Zayag is a problem.
No, the Zay is not going to be hot enough. If you
This thing was steaming. It was like piping out like a choo-choo train, you know.
Stop while you're ahead. You said it's okay.
Yeah, but it's yeah.
It's better to, I'm assuming it's better to move it away.
I would advise you to find a little bit better place for the toaster.
Yeah. Well, usually it doesn't happen at the same time, but I was watching it. So I thought of you. Okay.
All right. Well, I'm glad something made you think of me.
Well, yeah,
Can I ask you something?
I'm glad you're home a little bit.
9 o'clock at night, I think about you.
I'm glad you're home a little
bit. That's true.
Thank you, Naftali.
On doing the daf, the Gemara said that the motzai Shabbos was when Oyer was created.
Right.
Is that a proof that there was no time until the third day?
No time?
Until Yom Shlishi.
Why?
Well, time that we know of is based on the sun, the moon, whatever, right? They were created on the third day. But how do you create light at night? Motzai Shabbos is night.
Motzai, he created fire.
It says oyer.
I know. I thought that meant fire.
I don't know if fire was created until Adam Rishon.
We had this Machlokes with Aaron Horowitz, whether or not it was darkness or not, and he was very adamant that it's dark.
You had a Machlokes with Aaron Horowitz. I'm shocked.
The Gemara says oyer, not aish. We use aish because that's when oyer was created. Oyer says oyer and choshech. It doesn't say aish.
Which motzai Shabbos? The first or the second?
Well, the first motzai Shabbos didn't exist.
Well,
that's only because he didn't have the lechem upon him then either.
1 second. Yom Rishon.
Yom Rishon was technically what we would call motzai Shabbos, but it wasn't on motzai Shabbos.
Right, 1 second. Yom Rishon, there was a motzai Shabbos, wasn't there?
There wasn't a Shabbos before it. Shabbos was created 6 days later.
Good, but motzai Shabbos, Sunday, Yom Rishon, which
it's technically not motzai Shabbos, but it is motzai Shabbos because it's called Yom Rishon.
Fair enough.
That's some serious splitting hairs right there.
It can't be motzai Shabbos if there was no Shabbos.
I'm agreeing with you, but
1 second. But Sunday, 1 second. So which motzai Shabbos was it? After Adam was created?
No, the first one. Oyer. First day of creation, the first part of creation. That's what's mashma from the Gemara. The Gemara says oyer, not aish.
Right.
I think aish was created.
Well, then it didn't start. It can't be the first motzai Shabbos. There was no first motzai Shabbos.
That's what he's saying.
That's what I'm saying. But then the Gemara says oyer, not aish. Why doesn't the Gemara say aish?
I don't know. We definitely treat
not
it
in
as
front
if
of the Gemara. What does the Gemara say? Does the Gemara say aish or oyer?
Or.
That's what I thought. Yeah. Because the first motzai Shabbos, you didn't need aish to light the cigarette. You only needed it the second month. So you only need the cigarette after you go through Shabbos.
What are you calling the first motzai Shabbos? Before creation, before Shabbos may break.
Yeah, you didn't need aish because there's no need for a cigarette. You didn't have Shabbos.
Right. So oyer means that first day, right? You're treating it that first day. So it was created on motzai Shabbos or the day?
Oh, I would say Sunday.
Right, but the Gemara says motzai Shabbos, which is mashma at night. The oyer was created at night, and the Kadosh Baruch Hu called it Yom. How does that work?
I always assumed that it was talking about Aish, and it was on the 6 days into creation. Motzai Shabbos, the first Shabbos.
That's what I thought until I saw this Gemara. But the Gemara says oir, not eish.
I think with the oilam touches it as eish.
It's hard to do. How do you do that? Gemara
So how do you do that? How do you do that? What I mean, it was because light was not created on motzai Shabbos.
Well, we would call it motzai Shabbos because we would call it Sunday. So, I mean, when does motzai Shabbos end?
Right. After the late show. I don't know. Okay, I got to go into my chavrusa. I'll call you for a second, Simon. All righty.